I feel like
Welcome back to Spill the Tea Tuesday. Our question today. Oh, by the way, I have my husband here with me, Beau. Say hello.
Hello.
And I am Kendra, owner of the Eden Waxing Skincare and Body. So we're here for Spill the Tea Tuesday. And our question this week is, how was your first wax? So I get asked that a lot in the treatment room. And I thought that it would be fun to have Beau for this one because I gave him his first wax. Is that right?
That's true.
Did you ever get waxed before I waxed you?
No.
Not by anyone?
Nope.
You didn't ever
Usually
walk in?
shaved.
You can tell me the truth.
I've never walked.
Okay, you never walked into like a nail salon and was like, you can wax my eyebrows?
I've never been waxed.
Okay, all right.
Before then. And that was the only time I've ever been waxed.
Okay.
Also.
Okay. All right. So, my first wax was actually in beauty school, and it was pretty horrible. So, we had this little room that was just tiny. It was just like a little lunch box with a table, and then you had your little tiny like fan, and you had your wax pots. And I had two of my friends at the time practicing hard wax on me. So I had one girl on each side of me. I'm sitting there in my froggy leg position, and they end up meeting in the middle, if you know what I mean. Like the labias were like glued together. So I had like a turtle shell of hard wax on my hoo-ha. And I'm sweating. I'm sweating so bad. And I'm thinking, oh, how are we going to get this off? So I'm looking at each girl side to side of me. And they're looking at each other. And they're looking at me. And we're just all sweating. Like, what are we going to do? And I said, well, what are we going to do? They're like, well, I'm going to go get some help. So one of them leaves, go gets the teacher. Teacher comes in. She kind of like looks over her glasses. And she's like, and walks away. I'm like, what do you mean? I had this turtle shell of wax on my vagina. What are you going to do? So she goes and gets another person, comes back in, and they grab the biggest wad of hard wax I'd ever seen. And she takes it all the way up to my belly button. And then she tells me to breathe in. So I breathe in. And mind you, this is still my first Brazilian wax. I'm sitting there with my knees folded apart. And I have 4 people in the room. Is definitely not a moment to be shy. So she takes that strip and just rips it. And I swear I see my labia like leave me like somebody stepping in hot gum on the sidewalk. And then it just snaps back. Thank God it snapped back. I swore then and there, I was like, F this. I'm not doing this again. And sure enough, like 6 months later, I worked up the courage to try it again because I was like, okay, if I'm going to be waxing people, I need to have a good experience. I need to keep doing this and see the result and all that stuff. So here I am, 15 years later and still waxing, but I hardly have anything anymore. So I got through it. That's my point. I survived. So for all of you thinking, oh, I should really try Brazilians, and you're so scared, it can't be worse than what I went through. How about you? Well, your first time was with me, right?
It was.
But you're Brazilian anyway.
Yeah. So.
How do you remember it? Because I remember it a certain way, and I'm sure you remember it a certain way. So I'm going to let you go first, and then I'm going to tell the true story.
Well, every time I get waxed, I'm a baby about it either way.
I agree with you on that one.
The Brazilian was one of the worst places for me to get waxed. That's why I don't do it anymore.
Well, first the worst. Well, hold up 1 second. I have to actually put you on pause because I have to paint the picture here. I was already in the industry a few years, but I met you. I was still quite young. I graduated and got my license and all that stuff, and I was working downtown in a luxury spa by the time I was 19. But I met you at 21, right? I was 21 when I met you, right?
22.
Yeah, almost 22.
Like
yeah,
that.
22. So I was still fairly new to the industry, newer, within my first 3-4 years. And at that point, I was doing a lot of facials, doing a lot of luxury spa stuff. I had done Brazilians, I'd done waxing in general, but not a lot of male Brazilians. So when I had asked you to wax you. It was actually me practicing. So, the truth comes out.
That was great.
Okay, so now with that being said, your experience.
Well, I've had my entire body waxed, and my Brazilian was the roughest of them all.
For your first time, right?
For my first time.
Yeah.
And I haven't had it again. I've had pretty much the whole area except for the top part of my Brazilian
You
done.
kind of do like a modified Brazilian now.
Yeah, because that's where it hurts the most. Everywhere else is pretty easy to get through.
But your first time, I mean, I remember being in your house, and it was like, you're in the south side of town at that time. But I remember we were in like your bedroom. We had it like all laid out on the floor.
Well, yeah, it probably wasn't the best situation in the first place, and we didn't have the right stuff, but still, it's still
I had like
still
cheap
great.
wax,
So,
cheap wax from like Sally's. Horrible.
yeah, it was definitely traumatizing at first, but
Thank you, by the way, for letting me practice. I'm sure every gentleman today will salute you.
yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, I got through it. I wasn't bleeding. There's no missing parts or anything like that. So it was.
You say like bleeding, like I took a limb off of you. Like,
it feels like something's coming off of me when it was happening, but it was. Yeah, I mean.
But we did a lot that first night. It was not just your Brazilian. We had done like
My arms
your
and my
arms,
chest.
chest. I think
was also traumatizing.
The sternum,
very,
I think,
very
is
hurt.
pretty difficult for guys, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty painful for guys. The Brazilian, I feel like, is equally difficult for men and women, but I feel like the first time is like the worst. And each time I've waxed you throughout the years, because how many years have we been together now? 12?
13.
13? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was missing one.
Married for.
In my mind, we weren't locked down until a year in. Everyone else is still fair game.
Whatever.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I think that we did a lot that first wax. Because your first time waxing, we did like, I want to say like half body. We had done eyebrows. I think we did underarms too, right?
We did my ears, my eyebrows, my nose, which is also very strange.
Yeah.
My arms, my chest, my back, and my stomach, and my Brazilian.
Yeah.
At that point, and it was. It was.
Maybe we should have just started with one thing.
Maybe.
I think you do have like PTSD. You see like me twirling wax, and you're like, I'm gonna run. Start sweating.
No.
But now you're so much better.
Well, I get we do my back wax now and my legs
Monthly.
I still don't do my arms and my chest and the top of my Brazilian, but outside of that,
we've worked our way up though. We've done full legs now, and you hadn't done that before. How do you like doing your legs? Do you feel like as a man, like doing your legs makes you feel more feminine, or do you feel like it's just like looks good and you like it?
no, I feel like it looks good and I like it, and it lasts longer than me shaving it. I don't have to shave it every week, so.
I think it makes your tattoos look cool.
It is, yeah. I do like that.
So for the listeners though, Beau has a half leg, like a lower leg tattoo, and when we wax it, it's just like shiny and looks like all new. And he's had that tattoo since before me, so over 12 years old.
Over 20 years, I think.
Over 20 years old tattoo, and it looks nice every time. I feel like anytime I wax over tattoos, they just look so clean afterwards.
Yeah. So, other than that, I mean, it is true. Every wax for me gets easier. So, I may try a Brazilian again, at least the top part of it, at some point.
Yeah, but you get through like the testicles and all that stuff just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole lower part of the Brazilian, we still get everything that we would in a Brazilian and just leave the hair on top.
Yeah.
Some people just prefer that. Like they want like a triangle or a landing strip or this or that. It's when they start asking like out of the box things like I want like a lightning bolt or a kitty cat face, and I'm like, listen, like I consider my craft like I am an artist in a way, but I'm not an artiste. I cannot give you kitty whiskers, okay? Sorry. I can't make this look like elephant ears and then you have your trunk, okay?
Oh my God.
I'm not that
I would
talented.
never ask that anyways. But
You sure? You don't want like a...
zero chances.
You don't like Harry Potter? You don't want like a little lightning strike?
No,
next time?
thank you.
No? What's something that we haven't waxed that you'd want to wax?
There's
I think
nothing
we've
that
literally
haven't
waxed
yet.
everything,
The only
huh?
thing I haven't waxed is my face and my head, really, and I'm not doing that. So
That's true. I've actually waxed a few heads. Two.
Yeah.
Two in the 15 years I've done 2 heads, and I think it was the same guy actually. And then I've done a lot of faces, especially for gentlemen that like grow really sparse. They can't really get a full beard. They like to like just wax it off because it's just easier if they shave in between, or if they just want a nice clean look and they just let it come out and then wax it. But I've waxed a lot of faces, but that hair is so coarse and it does bleed. It does bleed.
Yeah,
And that's why it's not really recommended to do it, but you can.
yeah, no, I don't feel like I'd ever do that. Yeah.
I don't think there's the only things that well, you know what? There's a lot on my body that I haven't waxed. I haven't waxed my back, but I'm afraid if
You don't really have hair on your back, so
I know. Well, I can get a little fuzzy. Like if you catch me at the right angle in a bathing suit, I feel like my lower back is a little bit
you don't
caterpillar.
grow hair like I grow hair.
Well, no. Well, you're
I
a
look
dude.
like Teen Wolf.
You look like Cousin It.
Just hair coming out my shorts. The back.
What's that movie?
It's horrible.
Animal.
Animal, there you go.
When he has like the two butt cheeks of hair.
Yep.
You do look like that though. do you prefer hard wax or soft wax?
Honestly, you've used both. That doesn't really, either one of them don't bug me. On my back, I did like the bigger strips of a hard wax.
Mm-hmm. You feel like it's less painful?
Yeah, I feel like it's less painful.
So much longer though. As somebody who does the waxing, I feel like soft wax, I can just paint your back and then like and be done with it in like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
But the hard wax, you go back through, like you grab it, even a multi-directional wax, I feel like it still takes a little bit longer. And I've seen people knock out a full wax with hard wax pretty quickly, but maybe it's just like my little bird hands. Like I can't really like hold that much wax in one. I don't know. Maybe it's me because I've seen it done, but I'd much prefer using soft wax on the full back.
Yeah. But either way, I mean, it hurts. To me, it hurts a little more, but it's not horrible. That's why the other one is just, I think, a little less painful.
Would you rather have the less pain and a longer service, or a quicker service and a little more sting to the pool?
I feel like it's fast either way. I don't feel like it's that much longer.
I think you fell asleep when I was using hard wax last time. I remember like talking to you, and then I got a little bit annoyed because I felt like you were just ignoring me, and I was like, "Hello," and you're like, like okay. I didn't know hard wax was that much of a difference.
No.
But I will say, waxing family members is like the worst. And I think every time I wax you, we get in a tiff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you purposely pull it that way to make it hurt.
That's true. I feel like she gets upset at me, and then she can take it out on me with waxing.
When you say she, you mean me.
Yep, you.
Yeah.
You're the only one that waxes me, so...
Honestly, I feel like I should pay for you to get waxed by somebody else, just so you can experience someone else and then come back to me crawling and
Wow.
begging
Hold
for
on.
forgiveness.
Hold on. We let, say, wax one of my legs.
Okay, yeah.
It-
And we were
it
like in
didn't-
2 and 2. It was like...
It didn't feel any different or hurt any more. I just feel like sometimes...
But who trained Massey?
Like, for instance...
Who trained Massey?
You did.
Okay.
But
I need to like
at the
pay for
same-
you to go
hold-
somewhere
hold
like
on.
completely different.
But at the same time, it's like when that was happening, and then you took that one piece and you were like,
You mean the slow tug?
Yeah.
That was.
That was see, that's why.
But we were joking.
It's not
We were
funny.
joking.
It's not funny. It's my pain.
Your pain is funny. But honestly, I feel like for a first wax, I mean, I'll never forget my first Brazilian wax. That was just horrible. And then the one I had after that, it just got easier and easier after that. And now I feel like I hardly grow anything down there. I feel like for anybody who's waxing that area for a long time, especially females, it's just like the labia keeps growing and then the top stays kind of bare. So then we end up just looking like old men with goatees. Maybe when I'm really thinking hard, I can just brush my fingers through it and stare at you. It's like, whoa.
My wife constantly tries to put me off of women with these comments.
It's because I'm the only one who should ever be attracted to you.
Well, I definitely don't want to think of old men when I'm
Well, I'm doing my thinking fingers through
So
my
horrible.
goatee. Oh my goodness. Well, if anybody's listening and they're like, oh my gosh, this is like the craziest lady ever, then you should probably come get waxed by me because it's pretty entertaining.
You should probably meet the guy that puts up with it. So
Yeah. You're like, wow, somebody lives with that every day. It's entertaining to say the least.
she's awesome, you guys. I'm just joking, but she does say some things that are out there.
Somebody asked me today, or who? Not today. Though somebody was talking to me about like funny people when they're drunk. They're like, I bet you're super funny when you're drunk. And I'm like, I don't know, I wouldn't remember.
Oh, she turns into a comedian. But sometimes it goes a little too far.
I think that's anybody when they drink, but let's just put it this way. I'm a fun drunk.
Not me.
But anyway, but first time waxing, yours was horrible, mine was horrible. I think everyone's first experience isn't like the best, but it gets better. And if you do have a pretty good first experience, stick with that waxer because you've found your person. And if you haven't found your person, come to Eden Waxing Skincare and Body. We got you. Happy Spill the Tea Tuesday, you guys, and we will talk next week. Bye.
Bye.